Porsha, I have a question. If Drew is a low-down, dirty, slimy individual, what does that make you? What's up, everybody? It's your girl Bonnie Scotch. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I wanted to bring you a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, episode 2. Okay, before we get started on today's review, go ahead and hit the like button for me. When you hit the like button, it's a free way to support the channel and also let YouTube know that I am here and that you all are rocking with my commentary, so YouTube starts to shoot my content out to other viewers. Also, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all of my new Scotch bonnets, everybody who has already been gang with me. Listen, y'all turned it out in that premiere. Y'all turned it out for my first week of reviewing Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is my first time ever covering this show, and this premiere did better than any other premiere on my channel. So I just wanted to thank all of the Scotch Bonnets for the high engagement, for getting down in the comments with me, for being down in the chat with me whenever I do these premieres. Y'all have really just been holding me down, and I just want to say thank you so much. So let's go ahead and get right into this review. So we pick up this episode where we left off. It's this confrontation between Porsha and Drew. You see how Shamia and Porsha pulled a fast one on us? Because I thought the ladies were going upstairs so that Kelly could finish confronting Porsha about why she went in that lady's house and walked out with her husband. Porsha is asking producers, can I break the fourth wall?
No, Reverend. Let her get her attention. Seems like she doesn't have much else.
And then she proceeds to call Drew a low-down, dirty individual. She says she's not mad that Drew and Dennis are working together on music. She is, however, mad that she is filming with Dennis on this show because she's going through a divorce right now and that's her baby daddy. Well, Porsha, you have to deal with your baby daddy anyway because Pilar is such a young child. Pilar is a little girl. She's not an independent teenager where she can kind of, just go off and do her thing. You ain't really got to deal with Dennis that much. So you're dealing with him anyway. Also, if you know that Drew and Dennis are making music together and Drew is on the show, then of course your baby daddy is going to be filming. So why are you trying to stop Drew's bag? I don't like that. Drew is going through a divorce as well. Things are hard on her side. You have this man trying to take her for everything that she has, which we'll have that conversation later. So Drew needs support as well. So why Porsha is trying to stop Drew's bag is really lost on me. Porsha doesn't think about anybody outside of herself. Porsha, it gives me that you are still pressed about Dennis. And after watching this episode, I got the impression that Porsha and Dennis still mess around. I feel like this dynamic between people who share a child is not unheard of. They dip back in and out of each other. They go back and forth and they sleep around every once in a while and then they go off and do their own thing and go and have relationships or whatever like that. I feel like Porsha feels like because, now this is alleged, this is just my theory. I feel like Porsha feels like because she messes around with Dennis every once in a while, she can still get whatever she wants out of him, and that is not the case in this situation, and we are seeing her throw a tantrum. Also, I think it's kind of stupid that Porsha is hollering about loyalty when it's like, girl, you have no space or place to speak on anybody's loyalty. But the other thing is, this is business. What does loyalty have to do with anything? And why do you think you can control what your baby daddy does in terms of business? I don't think that Drew is sleeping around with Dennis. It doesn't give me all of that. But if she is, that will be good for you. You get to understand what it feels like. This is straight out the Porsha playbook. The game is the game. The other thing that I'm clocking about Porsha is that she doesn't want Dennis to be on the show because when he was on her show, Porsha Family Matters, he was a fan favorite. Now, I didn't watch the show. I only watched Rodney the Voice's review. So I was getting all of the tea through him. Turns out Dennis was a fan fave. Porsha also tried to fight Dennis's mother. Her family tried to jump his family, and she told him that she hopes he gets locked up in Mexico. Porsha was over there throwing plates across the room like an animal. She doesn't want Dennis to come on her show and steal her limelight again. Then you got Cynthia in this confessional with this big ass stupid wig on her head talking about how Drew is a liar. Porsha's a liar too, though. So what are we saying here? In the next scene, we have Angela and Charles Oakley. We learn that she has an older daughter and a son. Charles has a son and they have a daughter together. So they kind of have this blended family. The only thing I really got from this scene is that Charles put me in the mind of Peter Thomas. If you know, you know. Peter Thomas was way more interesting than Cynthia Bailey. Charles was, a little bit mouthy in this scene, and I was here for it. Now, my mom is a huge basketball fan, so I did ask her last week, hey, what do you know about Charles Oakley? And she was like, listen, he's a cold piece, okay? So that is the impression that I get. He is very mouthy. He's very opinionated. That can go either way on this show, and that's a shame. When I want to see more of your man than you, that's really a shame, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And Angela, I'm gonna have to spin the block on you because I saw you cutting up in next week's episode, and I'm gonna ragtag your ass for that. I will get you for it. I also forgot to mention this from my notes last week, but I really didn't like when she told the ladies that they needed to put some respect on her husband's name, because what do you want them to do? You want them to kiss the ring? Girl, shut up. Angela is saying, Drew's working with her ex, and Charles is like, well, don't act like you never worked with one of your exes before. Angela's like, well, and Charles is like, there's always a well with some water in it. And I love that, because you know how these niggas be having these sayings and things like that. We love an old nigga saying. Remember on Real Housewives of Potomac when Mia was like, that's not fair, and Gordon was like,
it won't fair, go to accountable.
I love those old nigga sayings. I really, really do. So I thought that was funny. We have this scene with Kenya and Porsha meeting up. Now we all remember the tumultuous history between Kenya and Porsha, so it is nice to see them getting along. Porsha is saying something to the effect of, I think they were sitting somewhere and then all of a sudden they were surrounded in their car by the police, and then there are all these articles coming out about him being a scammer, and then she tells Kenya that she was Simon's fifth wife. I don't want to hear all the crying and whining from Porsha. You knew exactly what you were signing up for. You knew that this was a grifter. You knew that this was a scammer. The only person that I feel bad for in this situation is Lil Pilar, because you have a stupid mother. I could see if Porsha was some young girl running around the streets, maybe in her early 20s, nothing to lose, whatever. You think you hitting a lick or whatever, and then you have to learn the hard way. But no, you're a woman with a huge platform, Real Housewives of Atlanta. You quit your job, this job for him. You also quit your job at Dish Nation. God alone knows why you did that. Porsha's parenting is highly questionable. As much as we want to throw around that Mia's a bad mother and this and that person's a bad mother, add Porsha to the list. So then we have Kelly meeting up with her publicist and her project manager at a potential restaurant location. They are letting her know that her timeline for this grand opening is just not a good idea. Next up, we have Britt and her husband. His name is Mike. Now, I said in the last review that I thought he was one of my kind, and one of my kind is a member of the LGBT community. I put the B in LGBT.
Black, bisexual, angry, sad, strong, sensitive, scared, fierce, talented, exhausted.
I don't know this man to out him. I don't know his business, so I'm not outing him, okay? I also want to say another thing. I identify as bisexual and pansexual because I'm attracted to men and women and trans men and trans women. I also would date a bisexual man. So there's no bigotry on this side when I'm pointing out, hey, I think I see somebody from my community, okay? Now, what I think would be bigoted is, I'm going to give y'all an example. Say I am in a space with a trans woman who is unclockable, and I'm with a cis hetero male, or cis hetero males or whatever, If I point out to that male that she is a trans woman, then that is me outing her. And that is an act of bigotry. I just wanted us all to be on the same page about what it looks like when a member of the LGBT community makes an observation versus someone actually outing someone and causing harm or putting them in danger. So I just want us to understand the difference before we get down in my comments and start typing fast. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm looking at Britt and Mike, and something about their energy, something about their dynamic is just not curling over for me. And my best friend helped me to kind of contextualize why. Now, Brittany, I forgot to clock your T in the last episode because I was just running through my notes fast. Something that I clocked at the very top of the episode last week is when Britt was saying, I gotta explain to my mother I've been sucking dick. Later on in that episode, she tells us that she was a video vixen and that she was in all of these men's magazines in high school. Where was your mother? Where was your parental figure? Where was a legal guardian? Where was Child Protective Services? Now, I don't know how old she was. So my best friend helped me to contextualize what is not really curling over with this, oh, you know, I sell insurance, I'm an insurance agent. But girl, your story is not really connecting for me because it gives that you are an Instagram influencer, you are an IG baddie, and those girls typically don't have to talk. They don't have to explain what they do. So when you come on here and you open your mouth and you start to explain things, it's not really curling over for us. She's saying that she wants to have a baby, whatever, I guess. Next scene, we have Shamia meeting up with Shadina, who was Shiloh's surrogate. She was also the surrogate of Candy's youngest daughter, baby Blaze. Shamia actually met Shadina through Candy, and Shadina was 32 weeks pregnant when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had to deliver the baby early. So there is some speculation that this is a part of the reason that the baby has had these health complications, but I think they're doing a really good job of being a support system to one another, and that was really good to see. I also like that they discuss the risk of having a surrogate mom because these are some of the complications that people encounter. Shamia said that she went through 7 rounds of IVF. Now, you have to have 4 shots a day, which I didn't realize it was that intense. That is a lot going on. People are being nasty online to her saying, oh, that's what you get for not carrying your own baby. People are disgusting. You have no idea what somebody's situation is or why they chose to go down the road of surrogacy. It's not like Britt, who was talking about, oh, I want to do IVF to choose the sex of the baby, which is like, girl, okay. I mean, I know that it's possible, but it's just like, I feel like if you don't have to do that, it's a lot to put yourself through just to determine the sex. Anyway, people gonna do what they want to do with their bodies, okay? Shamia is saying that Gerald wants another child, and this is really not sitting well with me, considering all of the trauma that their family has already endured with complications with Shiloh and with complications with Shamia in her own pregnancy. So it's just like, can't y'all just adopt and grow your family? Can't y'all just get a baby that's already here, a baby that's healthy, and y'all can raise the baby as your own? I just don't get why, when Black women are clearly having these maternal issues, the husband is pushing for another child. It's just like, I want what I want, despite that I know that this is putting your body through the ringer. You know, they always say that whenever a woman is pregnant, that she has one foot in the grave. It is such a risky thing to have a child, and I just feel like people treat it way too casually. Then we have Kelly meeting up with Britt. They are at Kelly's house. Brittany brings her dog over. Britt in this scene put me in the mind of RuPaul's Drag Race. There was a lot of contour, and I just feel like when you're a woman, you really don't need to do all of that. I mean, this girl was painted for the seats way in the back. Wow. We learned that Kelly's soon-to-be ex-husband took $500K out of her bank account.
A bunch of bums.
she filed a lawsuit to get the money back. Nasty. Now, she also let us know that, the cops had to be called. Things got physical with them. And this is just awful. Did y'all peep the way Brittany found a way to bring up Kenya, mentioning her ring once again to Kelly? Like, girl, you are really pressed about the doll. And if you had such an issue with her mentioning your ring and your wedding band and all of that, why didn't you just voice it with Kenya? Because I remember later on that night, you was begging her for a hug. So I'm supposed to believe that she's that girl and she's walking around begging stranger bitches for hugs? Next up, we have Drew, Angela, and Shamia meeting up at the gym. It looks like Angela has on a size small or a size medium top when she actually needs a large. Girl, that top doesn't fit you. What is with all of these ill-fitting tops and clothes? It's just wild to me that Drew has to leave her own house every other weekend. But I remember last season or the season before, wasn't Ralph running the streets in Tampa? So it just gives me that he wants to antagonize her. He wants to be in the house more now that they're going through this divorce. But it's like, but you wanted to run the streets when y'all were together. So why don't you want to do it now? You see how these men are? You got to be so careful who you marry and who you have kids with. He's asking for alimony. He's asking for percentages of her business and child support. Black women, I want y'all to be careful when y'all marry and have kids with these bums. I want y'all to be so careful because at the end of it all, it's going to be a shakedown. I've seen it so many times. It's just unfortunate that we see so many prominent black women on these shows becoming a lick. I just don't understand an able-bodied man asking a woman for money. Isn't Ralph supposed to be this guy who's like, oh, he's some tech guy, whatever? Get your ass up and go to work.
You go get a damn job.
Yeah. And stop trying to shake this lady down for her pocketbook. Disgusting. I'm tired of seeing these bums. So Shamia comes in. Angela is saying to Shamia, you just blurted out, are y'all effing? Angela, that's not what the lady said. And now you're just making stuff up. Now she's coming on really strong with Shamia. Shamia's trying to respond and she's cutting her off. And Shamia's like, let me finish. And Angela's like, no, I need to finish what I'm saying. But Angela, you cut her off. Because I watched that scene a couple of times. And as Shamia is trying to explain herself, you started going in again. I said I was going to try to give the girls a chance. I said I was going to try. But I don't know how far we're going to make it on that. Drew says if you look up the definition of lapdog, you would see Shamia's picture. I'm not going to hold you, but Shamia, you were getting on my nerves asking that question on behalf of Porsha, because whatever Porsha needs to know, she needs to ask Drew herself. Like, girl, you don't get involved. Because when Sheree and Phaedra was sitting up there talking about you, Porsha was mums the word.
Another thing from the past that I know I'm sure is going to come up, like when Phaedra was on there and she tried to imply that you and Candy were more than just platonic friends.
For sure.
But Candy's not on this season. I know you missed that. You know?
I do. Candy's amazing, and she really is a good friend. So it would have been incredible to have both of us on at the same time. Tauruses,
yeah.
What I mean,
and both outspoken,
both love music and all the things. So I'm like, you would pick this season to not come back,
right? Like why would you do that to me? But that's probably part of why they needed you too.
I don't know, because I'm like, we could have both just killed it. But hey, I mean, I'm happy to be back. But I honestly hated that. That was a very nasty rumor. But it goes to show that, like, you know, what the devil means for bad, God means for good. And nobody can, like, you know, take away what's in his plan and his will for you. And at that time, I was engaged to my husband. And if we were not, if he wasn't as secure and just strong as he is, and if our unit had not been strong, it could have destroyed our that was a nasty. And then it was like, you know, you saw it on camera on the show, like them in a circle at the table talking about it. That really hurt because I was like, why would you? That's such a nasty, ugly thing to say. Now, I ain't gonna lie and say, I mean, my husband know he didn't marry a virgin, but like once I have my first lesbian experience, let me be the one to talk about it.
Right.
Let me, I ain't got there yet.
Yeah, let him be there for it.
Like, let him be right. Can we add him into the mix? Get a little situation going. But no, I'm just like, I just was like, why would it? And then it really seemed valid because you got Phaedra, you got Porsha, they all and Sheree,
Right.
they're all sitting right there, and I was like, well, if your best friend said it, it's got to be true.
Yeah.
But he didn't move like that. He was like, babe, I'm not listening to any of that. I know what we have here. I know that you and Candy and Ty, all of y'all, we've done vacations together, couples trips. Like, he's like, I know what it is.
Did that cause a rift with you and Porsha because she was there and?
Yeah, it did. It was hurtful. I was like, I didn't like that. I mean, I hate to, it's so hard to not spill the tea, but it's like even this season when some of the ladies would come and ask me like, yo, what's up with your girl? She don't show up for you like you do her. Or what's up with this? I would just meet them with, yo, I mean, we've dealt with that. We've handled that. We're good. It's, that's old news or that's
Right.
old stuff. Or, because I mean, really it is.
Now, here we are with Angela being your lapdog, and you're not saying a word. You're not saying a word. Angela's doing all the talking for you. Next up, we have Porsha, Pilar, and Dennis meeting up at, one of those play spaces for the kids to come, and, they have all of these toys, and then they have, like, the little hiking wall that they can, climb up or whatever like that. So Porsha immediately brings up Drew. She says that Drew is telling us something completely different. And Porsha, you know that is a lie. Because all she did was emphasize that they have a great friendship and that Dennis is a supportive figure for her during a really tough time. Now, I don't understand why Porsha has these contacts in her head. It's making her look crazy. Porsha is a very good looking lady. The contacts, it's like, please. I can't take you seriously, okay? Dennis, as far as I'm concerned, the only person who can wear contacts is Spill It Boy TV, okay? Shout out to Spill It Boy TV. Anyway, Dennis says that Drew is going to use the platform for promotion, and Porsha says, now you're going to piss me off. So the minute Dennis says something that makes sense, he's pissing her off because it doesn't fit in with her narrative, and she knows that it makes sense because if they're doing music together, of course he would come onto the show to help her promote it. But Porsha doesn't like making sense. If Drew is doing music with Dennis, why would she not bring him on the show to promote it? Everybody has a business. Everybody has their own thing going on that they want to promote, right? Why is it any different for Drew? I'm not understanding that. She gets up, she walks away, she goes into the back room and she starts crying. She says that she never has support. She says he's going to use my platform against me. How is he using your platform against you? Now, here's what I think you mean by that. When Dennis is around, people get that he is more likable than you. He's charismatic. Yes, he did cheat on you while you were pregnant, but also you already knew this about him. He had tattoos of all kinds of women all over his body, and you said that you were kissing and licking the tattoos. You didn't care. You knew that he was a man about town. You knew that he was a man with a hot dick. You knew that he had a wayward penis. It gives that you just don't want to be shown in the light that you were shown on your actual show, Porsha's Family Matters, when you were throwing plates across the room. When you were trying to fight Dennis's mother. At the end of this, we get this little hot mic moment where they're driving off together and Porsha says, you're representing us, you're representing our family. Porsha, how well were you representing them and the family when you were throwing plates across the room and trying to fight his mother? And what I hate is that Porsha is having this conversation with Dennis, and Dennis is really calm and just like cool and whatever, and she's turning up. And I know Pilar is in that back seat. Why does Pilar have to hear this crap? I just feel like there are certain conversations that are to be had privately, and there are certain conversations that you just don't have around children. That type of contentious energy, I don't feel like children should be around that at all, no matter what the conversation is about. Because children internalize that. Like, poor Pilar was probably in the back seat anxious, like, What is going on? That is a young child. Why would you be having this conversation like that with Dennis in front of Pilar? Girl, Porsha says, what you do is going to mark what is to come with your daughter. So that sounds like a thinly veiled threat to me. Because what does that mean? Are you going to try to stop him from seeing his daughter? Because what does Pilar have to do with this? If y'all are trying to get along and y'all are trying to co-parent, you should not be getting in the way. There are so many men out there who don't want to be present fathers, and then here you have a man who is very involved in Pilar's life, and you're using that as a carrot to kind of dangle over his head, and I don't like that. And Porsha, if I get the impression that you're doing that, I will be back to drag you. I'll be back, trust me. Now we get a preview for the next episode where Angela Oakley takes a dig at Shamia and calls her Flavor Flav. Angela, I will be ragtagging that ass next week. Now, Shamia looks nothing like Flavor Flav. It's just that she has that gorgeous dark chocolate complexion. That's not a read. She's kissed by the sun. Okay? But anyway, I'll be back for you, Angela. I will. I want to give a huge shout out to Shamia, though, because she was on Watch What Happens Live looking absolutely stunning. She is having an amazing press run right now. She's doing interviews. She's on different podcasts. Andy really seems to like her. She just dropped a single. She has a YouTube channel. I am subscribed to her channel. I saw that she did like a little, kind of like a little show with Kelly where they were cooking breakfast together.
Start with cleaning the peaches. Let's do it. You know, I gotta spray them all down.
Spray 'em all down.
Because we do know some dirty peaches. Oh, we know some dirty peaches in this. That ain't what we want, okay?
I might have to take this with me next time.
Spray it on them. Dirty bitch.
Come here, turn around.
Oh wait, what is that? Dirty bitch.
Listen.
Oh my gosh.
It's for the fruits and the vegetables.
There you go.
Yeah.
It just gets rid of all pesticides.
It gets herbicides, pesticides,
That's that mouth of yours is gonna get you in trouble.
fraudicides.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let you stop. Stop.
All right, fine.
Be kind.
And their interactions, their dynamic looked really sweet, and I really enjoy Shamia's presence. I love her personality, and I'm rooting for Shamia. And to answer my question from last week where I asked, is Shamia in charge of the girls? Yes, bitch, she's in charge of the girls. But that was the episode, y'all. Go ahead and get down in the comments with me. You already know that I want to hear from you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting. And I'll see y'all for the next one. Peace.
Come on. It's me, Al Grande. Or call me Papi Chulito. Yo tengo mucho loving for you mommies if you legal. For honeys, nothing equal to the way I tap that spot. Get your cat hot. Guess what? You hit the jackpot. Candlelight dinners for you winners. See, I'm like Don Juan. Beat me, sweetie. I get in ya. Sugar, I'ma put you in a beautiful